Hi, I'm Simon. So a while back I bought off eBay a rather dilapidated Atari ST, which when it arrived, the case was sellotaped together to keep it shut. Surprisingly, most of the screws were missing, and looking inside the machine, most of the screw posts were missing as well. So to get it back into some sort of serviceable condition, obviously that needed some attention, and this video I'm going to show you what I did to repair those broken screw posts. So without further ado, welcome to Retro Computing Reboot. So this is the top of the case, and we'll flip it over and we'll look at the underneath, which is where all the screw post stands are. And you'll see from there I've been a busy boy. We'll get some close-ups in a minute, but it's not necessarily very tidy what I've done, but it certainly does work, and I can put screws back in. And in a recent opening of the case, I managed to break another one. The plastic on Atari STs is really fragile. I can't overestimate that enough. They just break for fun. You've got to be so gentle putting the screws back in. The slightest bit of over tightening, you will break these. So I'll try, see if it'll do a bit of a close-up. So you'll see this word concoction that I've done there. So this one is broke about halfway up. And what I've used, you see the brass thing in the top. What I've used is, I got myself some of these, some brass inserts, which, getting them in there is an art in itself. What I did was, with a soldering iron simulated with this, I put the soldering iron, wedged it on whilst it heated up, and that was sufficient then to melt the remaining plastic, and it sort of like moulded itself into the screw stand, the screw post as it were. And it's certainly trial and error, and I certainly had a lot of plastic fumes to breathe in, which I wouldn't recommend. But nevertheless, a combination of one of these, soldering iron, pushing them on till it's in the right position, and then leaving it to cool, and then reinforcing it with this. Which is the white stuff you can see around the side, which I can honestly say really has set like concrete. I've had no issues with it since. I've not had to redo any of them. They've all been very stable. The tricky bit is getting it to line up. And so what I'd do with the soldering iron, heat it up, put it in place, something like, and then it'd just be a case of test fit see if the screw holes line up looking through with the bottom of the case, and if it wasn't, rejig it. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but it certainly doesn't look pretty, but it does work. It does work. It's worked for me. And what you may need to be aware of as well is if there's been a change in height difference, then you may need to change the screws. So as well as the M3 inserts, which I used, I just got myself a pack of M3 screws to adapt for the change in length, which is why I struggled to get some of the screws out, as these aren't magnetic. But yeah, that's it in essence. Soldering iron, brass insert, different screws, and you can also use the screw in the brass insert whilst you've got it hot if you put the soldering iron on the edge, and it'll just give you more of a wiggle as well, just to get that fine adjustment. But yeah, hope you like that. It's certainly different. I don't think I've seen anybody else do it like this before. Certainly not the neatest of jobs, but it works, and I can screw my case back together, and at some point I'll be doing similar with this one that's broken as well. Thank you for watching. If you liked, please do subscribe. Please do add any comments, what you think, how I could have done it better perhaps. I'm sure there's many better ways of doing it than what I did, but this method worked for me. So with that, I wish you a good day, and hopefully see you again.